Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with the new Mac Pro. The question is though, is it worth it? So let's just get this out of the way first. Yes, the Mac Pro does kind of look like a trash can. Unlike basically every desktop ever, the design is entirely rounded, with the only break in the appearance being the ports around back. In pictures, it looks black, but in person, it's actually just dark, polished metal, and it's quite reflective. Thankfully though, it's not too much of a fingerprint magnet. What a lot of the pictures don't quite get across is just how small this thing is. Set it next to a mini ITX system, and there's no comparison. The Mac Pro is just tiny. Put it alongside a more standard computer capable of handling a couple beefy graphics cards, and you'll see the difference is really substantial. Now, whether the size really matters is something that's up to you. Now, personally, I prefer having a little bit more desk space, but regardless, it is impressive that they were able to fit this much hardware into such a small package. In a very un-Apple-like move, cracking open the Mac Pro is actually simple. Just flip the switch on the back, and the entire aluminum housing will slide right off, giving you access to all the parts inside. One look around, and the nerd in me is very, very happy. While everything is basically custom, it's nicely laid out, with the two FirePro graphics cards on display front and center. You can also easily swap in and out the 32GB of ECC RAM, which while expensive to replace is standard workstation grade stuff. The SSD is PCIe based and is just held in by a single Torx screw. Unfortunately, the downside is that there's no room for any hard drives inside the Mac Pro. You're going to have to make do with whatever size SSD you choose. Instead, you're meant to use one of the Thunderbolt or USB 3.0 ports on back for storage. An external hard drive enclosure will take care of that, but that's going to cost extra and clutter your setup. However, the good news is you can actually work on the Mac Pro, as most of the parts are fully upgradable. iFixit has a great teardown on their site, and with a little work, not only can you swap the memory and SSD, but you can also upgrade the processor. The graphics cards are technically replaceable, however they're custom, so you can't just throw in any card. On the bottom is the only fan in the system, which pulls air in and up through the giant heatsink everything is attached to. Hot air comes out up top, which is where you'll find the handle for moving the Mac Pro. Considering this has a full Xeon processor and a pair of FirePro cards, which are essentially Radeon R9 280Xs, the fact that it's cooled by a single fan seems like a very, very bad idea. But it works. In normal use, you just can't hear it. Even while cutting together video, the fan doesn't spin up. In fact, the only time it's ever really audible is when rendering out video, and even then it's not that bad. So while sure, the design is pretty cool for a full workstation grade system, however the real question is, how does it perform, and is it worth the $3,000 plus? The configuration I have here is sporting a 6-core Intel Xeon processor at 3.5 GHz, dual AMD FirePro D500 graphics cards, 32GB of 1866 ECC memory, and a 512GB SSD. As far as the benchmarks go, on Geekbench, the Mac Pro scored 3,606 on a single core and 21,072 on all cores. In Cinebench, on the CPU side, it scored 962, and for graphics, it pulled in 76.8 frames per second. One of the most impressive numbers comes from the SSD, where it consistently pulls in just under 1GB a second in both reads and writes. Performance inside Adobe Premiere is solid, partially thanks to that super fast SSD, however it doesn't seem to be taking full advantage of the Mac Pro hardware just yet. The price is a bit harder to nail down. So not everyone needs expensive hardware like Xeons, FirePros, and ECC RAM. However, if you compare it to Windows workstations that do have all of that kind of stuff, it's actually really not too far off. In the end, while it has sacrificed expandability and it's definitely expensive, it really is an impressively designed desktop. So what do you guys think? Is the Mac Pro worth it? Let me know in the comments below. And I am looking forward to these comments. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, absolutely be sure to subscribe to the channel for lots more tech videos, well, just like this. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and I will catch you in the next one.